Hello everyone, this is Manraj Grewal, currently in Metrotown, Burnaby. We're going to be going to DJ Aslam's studio right here, very nearby, and we're going to be asking him a ton of questions. I cannot wait for you guys to meet him.
I know what they be thinking of me. He grew up in East Van, used to calling me B. Yeah, that might be in my blood, but everybody can change. Everyone wants a bad bee in the range. I didn't really think someone could hold me down. That Kanye thing, a love lockdown. So let me get a drink and the second round. That Kanye thing, and it knocks you down.
Hey guys, we're here with DJ Aslam. Thank you so much for taking your time out and sitting with us. I'm so excited. You're literally the first DJ that I'm interviewing. So I have like a ton of questions. Most of them are going to be very ignorant because all I know about DJs are the ones that I've learned from movies. So I'm going to ask you so much. But firstly, I really like your name, and I always think like artists have such cool names. So could you tell us a little bit about how you came across the name?
So Aslam is like Aslam, like Assalamu Alaikum. So it's kind of like a Western way of saying Aslam. So then if you take out the hyphen, people that don't know, it kind of means like peace or with peace. So Aslam means like with peace, and then Aslam is like a Western pronunciation of it. But also like in slang, slam used to be like a hit, like something that like you would say like, yeah, like that slams or that slaps. So then the double meaning is kind of like Aslam, like it's something like hits, like music that like hits hard, but it also means like peace. So people that are like kind of like South Asian or East Indian, they'll know like, oh yeah, that guy's Aslam. Yeah, it came. I was like studying at SFU, and I started calling myself that, and then I had a Muslim friend who was like, oh my god, this is so cool because it's like Aslam and it's like Aslam, and I'm like, bro, dope. And then I just kept it from SFU onwards. Yeah.
Next question to you. How do you get into this profession and make it into a long-lasting thing? Like, how do you make money off it?
So I guess my overall advice, like doing like a funnel at the top, whatever you focus on, like all out, and you don't think that you're gonna fail, you will succeed. So that's something I wish someone would have told me when I was in high school, because you don't know. There's so much, like photographer, videographer, graphic design, makeup artist, writer, like there's so many things that, because you don't know how it's gonna look at the end of that funnel, like what does success look like, it's kind of like scary. So if you think like, oh, if I'm gonna be an accountant, where I go, I get this degree, I apply at this, I do this internship, you can see it. But my advice, and I'll break it down like what my story was, but that process will happen no matter what. If you like just all out focus in it, even though there isn't a path, those doors will open. And they don't really explain that in high school, but that I've seen that over and over and over again. So yeah, my path is not the same as everyone else's, but whatever you like focus on 100%, that door will open. So that's what I would say. So then for DJing, for me now, I got into it just by DJing for free in nightclubs. So I like bought some DJ equipment. I used to work part-time at Ticketmaster. So I just had this part-time job, save up money. I bought my first set of turntables. I started just practicing at home. This is before you could even look it up on YouTube. And then I would go to clubs and watch other DJs. I would ask questions. And then I had a couple friends that I made that were DJs. So DJ Gab and DJ Exquisite. So then they started teaching me at their house, like on their turntables, and then they would show me at gigs like how they were playing, and then they started letting me like play with them. And then obviously I'm keeping up on music, so then when I am playing, even if my mixes aren't great, I'm playing great music. So the dance was still going, and they're like, okay, dope, they'll help me with my mixes, they'll show me stuff. And then if you just put in like those hours, you'll naturally become a better mixer. You'll start to know what songs are doing better. People will request songs from you. You're like, oh, that was such a good request, like let me keep note of that. And that will go. But if you think about any industry, if you're like a makeup artist, okay, let me just do makeup for free on my friends. They're gonna be down, right? Let me just test it out. Let me throw it on Instagram. Oh, dope. Let me grab my first booking. Let me make a website. Let me shoot some free videos for my friends. So whatever it is, if you just do it all out, those doors will open. And I think we work it backwards. We go, oh, he's gonna be a lawyer, so now I'm gonna work back. You can't do it like that. It has to be like, okay, I have a passion for music, so let me just go all out, and then I'll figure it out as it goes. So it's kind of, yeah, it's really it's hard for me to just tell parents that, yo, trust me, let your kid just do it. He'll figure it out. But now, if I was like gonna advise the next generation of musicians and DJs, it's much more formal because there's music schools in Vancouver now. So you can actually go for school for music, then you can apply to a DJ company. Like I have an intern always at Divinity. Other DJ companies have interns. All the sound and audio companies have like internships. So now you can actually follow a more like logistical path from graduating in music or learning on your own, interning with a company, and then going out on your own. Yeah, so it's a lot easier now for sure.
Well, I think people are just scared to sort of do things for free because it's, I'm giving the money to my college and then I'm getting a degree and then I'm going. And I think it's so cool. I was actually gonna ask, do you think, I mean, we're usually shown in movies, right? Whoever takes like the least taken path, they're the ones who. So do you think it's better now that the kids are learning how to DJ, or is it better that you sort of learned it yourself and you put it together and you sort of like got that richer experience of figuring it out yourself?
No, I 100%. I have no issue if you went to school and learned how to do music. Like, I'm not proud that I had to learn. I wish I would have graduated from high school and I could have done like a 1-year program instead of taking like 3 to 5 years learning it, like random like guy conversation here, oh random nightclub here, oh this is how like these microphones work. Finally, when YouTube started and like people started posting videos, it's like, oh, finding the right video. So yeah, we had to learn that way, but no, 100%. You will learn everything I learned in 6 to 10 or 12 months, whatever, in a course. So, but then that's still, no matter what, is going to be like course related, but it's going to give you a strong foundation. The work that it comes into, like finishing songs, if you're a music producer, working with artists, or then running a dance floor, that you cannot learn in a class. You have to do that like hours and hours, like in a studio with an artist, or you're the artist, or like you're on a dance floor, whether it's like a birthday or a club night, working those songs. So that part you can't speed up. But the education side, yeah, I have no problem you learning it in a class, or or even now like with masterclass or online courses, like learn it as fast as you can. You don't have to struggle it out just to learn.
When you hear DJs, right, you hear they're not putting in original music, or they're just sort of like mixing people's songs, people's beats. And you're releasing original song. I mean, how does that work? Because you're working in like you were saying like you were working in 2 different parts of the music industry. You're releasing your own original music. I mean, for me, that's like completely like that's not DJing. Like I don't, so you're releasing your own music, and that's amazing. So how did you get into that part?
Okay, so when I graduated high school, DJs weren't that like, there wasn't like DJs on the radio. I think Timbaland maybe at some point when I was in university dropped an album as a producer, and then DJ Mustard way later. There was no like Avicii, Tiesto. There was no like DJs that were artists. So I originally didn't go to DJ first. I actually originally was like, oh, I need to like produce music to then do something with it. So I didn't know as much about the DJ culture. So I actually started off like trying to record artists, recording my friends at home. I literally just set up a little studio in my bedroom and I bought like an M-Box, it's a Pro Tools M-Box, and I just started recording. When I started to put those songs out, then I started to do remixes. So we would rap over other people's beats. So I had a really popular remix of We Fly High, which I did with this MC Lex and a Punjabi singer named Gary, or Greteshwar, beautiful name. And then I did a remix of I Need to Go Part 2 with Reminisce, who was a DJ and a singer. So when those remixes came out, then like DJs would play them. So then I was like, oh, okay, so let me learn more about like what these DJs are doing, because it was like a way for me to play my own songs. So that's actually where I got into DJing. And you're right, most, I would say, people will DJ first and then like learn production, unless they do it in a course. So I actually went the other way. So I started off making my own songs and remixes, learning how to DJ, and then yeah, I kind of got to the point where you're right, like I'm playing so many other people's songs and I'm playing like remixes, and I'm like, man, but why did I start in music? I started making my own songs. So my career has kind of gone full circle now that I'm like, okay, I have established myself as a pretty successful DJ. Let me get back to what I was doing before, which is like recording and producing my own music. And yeah, I kind of had this thing where like I didn't think I could do vocals, and I had an amazing person in my life, like just like 2 years ago, and she really like kind of encouraged me to like be like, no, like you can do those vocals, you sound great on those songs, like just rap and sing those songs yourself. So she was like, it's kind of, you, I don't know if you just need someone to like be like, no, that sounds dope. And so, you know, she was really a blessing. And so not only am I producing like this album that's out now, I produced it, but then I also like rap almost all the vocals, which when I was doing music before, I was, you know, featuring a lot of other artists. Yeah, so that's kind of, so now my goal is not just to play those songs, but I would actually like to perform those songs as an MC. Yeah, so that's kind of the next step.
Your original song, it's releasing on near Mother's Day, and it's on your mom. Could you tell us a little bit about why choose that topic, and what your mom means to you?
Yeah, again, like this full circle idea. So I wrote that song in that time, like just like in the beginning of university. So it's almost 10 years ago that I actually wrote this song. And then a version of that song had come out like a long time ago, but again, there was no like Spotify. So I just like put it out on CD. And I had a bunch of my friends on it. And so now when I was like, okay, I'm going to release my own album, like let me reproduce this song properly. Like I'm 10 years better as a producer now. And so I reproduced that song. I rapped all the vocals and I sang the hook. And one of the original verses, like, so from 10 years ago, I had to keep him on the song. His name's Vic Nair, and his rapper name was Advocate. And it was a really shocking moment for me because he passed. So that was another reason why I wanted to get into original music, because like I think him passing, I was like, man, like I've done these songs with him, and like that's a little bit of a way that his like legacy as an artist can go on. So I was actually originally just gonna do that song, and then it kind of turned into like doing a whole album because I had the time during COVID, like the downtime. So that whole song I wrote about my mom back then, and Advocate wrote his stuff about his mom, and then yeah, so now that whole song is coming out. So yeah, and so I wrote that song about my mom, yeah, kind of because like she's been the main constant in my life. So like yeah, like I didn't really grow up with my dad at all. Like dad's not a great person, like zero. Like we don't talk. And my mom didn't have it easy raising like me and my brother. So it was kind of like an ode to my mom. And I guess the thing that people might not catch is when you are an adult, you have a different relationship with your mom, right? And so the lyrics, it's an ode to my mom, like a thank you, but it also, in the verses, I'm really talking about that complex relationship I have with my mom. So I didn't want it just to be like, yeah, I just didn't want it to be like, oh, it's just a love song about his mom. It's like, no, it's like, it's really an ode. It's an ode to that relationship between an adult child and their parent, right? So it's a little bit more complex than just like a song about my mom.
We're gonna hear like maybe a tidbit of it, and it is out on YouTube. And you filmed a music video, which honestly, congratulations. What is the process like filming a music video?
For me, the process first was actually applying for a grant. So me and the original director AJ, we pitched a grant treatment, and so that's kind of how that process started. And we didn't get it. So shout out, you don't always get your grant, but then we re-pitched that same grant again and we got it. Actually, we applied for 3. We did 3 grant applications. So it took almost 2 years to get the funding. And then once we got it, then the wheels go in motion. And because it was 2 years later, she wasn't able to be the director on set, AJ. So then Kamantha Naidu is the director. And so me and her then put together a shot list, worked with the DOP, which is Emma. Like she rented all the equipment. Like it was a full production, but it all kind of started from that original treatment, which is like basically a bunch of pictures and ideas. And then that kind of turned into all of that. And then on set, like it was just a blessing, like the whole crew. And then Christine did the photos. So the whole idea was like doing a photo shoot for our moms and then filming a music video at the same time. So that's kind of what the video looks like that, the viewers will see. And then the kind of like the process after that then is the release. So now that's kind of the stage that we're in now. So you have to think about shooting the video and then also how that release is gonna look. And that's kind of where we are right now, which is doing like interviews with people like you and like doing stuff on Instagram just to help promote the video and then the album. Best place for me is Instagram. I'm Hussein DJ Aslam on Instagram. And I always put whatever new is out is on my Instagram bio. So this music video and the whole album is all in one playlist and it's all in my Instagram bio. So just Hussein DJ Aslam on Instagram. And then if you are like looking on streaming services and stuff, I'm just A-Slam on like all the streaming services.
So those are all the deep questions and all the important ones. But now we have the fun questions because obviously we want to know you as a person as well. Okay, one thing that people don't realize about being a DJ.
Oh, how much paperwork it is. Like, I don't think people, like when we DJ, we on the dance floor for 4 or 5 hours, but we probably sent 30 to 40 emails. We got your first song, your entrance song, your dance, like we got all your requests, your schedule, all the invoicing, paperwork. Like I have an assistant that does back-end work for me,
Right.
Insurance,
Right.
repairing equipment. Like I don't think people understand the amount of like, it's a business.
Right.
Like DJing is a business. So
Right.
everything that you think that a business has to do, we have to do that too. And then we just get to play music instead of like, going to court or like
Right.
doing your taxes or fixing your car.
Yeah.
But we still have to do the entire business. So that's the thing people don't understand, that to be a private events DJ, you also have to understand business.
Oh man, that's so cool because I think people just imagine that you like carry your equipment in a bag and you're out the door and you play that music and you come back and it's a chill life.
Yeah, they give you a club DJ.
Right. Oh my god. Okay, my next question is, we always imagine DJ having this amazing life, like hosting parties, sort of like living this nightlife and then they just sleep during the day. What does your typical day look like?
Yeah, so I do have to sleep in and stay up late even during the week. Otherwise, my weekend schedule, I'm out of it because I'm not awake enough. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, my days start at like 9, but my regular days, yeah, like I meditate in the morning, I work out, and then I start my work day, which is it's like usually emailing back and forth with clients.
Okay.
So do my, take care of my body in the morning, deal with my, like all my client work, and then, from like 7 or 8 o'clock onwards,
Right.
then I try to make sure that I'm producing music and working on like original songs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. So you do live a good life. I mean, that sounds pretty good. Okay, and best advice that you've ever gotten. This could be related to DJing or just being a human being.
The best advice that I ever gotten. Okay, I'll probably quote oh crap, what book is it from? Oh, it's from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And instead of so reading personal growth books was a big piece of advice. Shout out my man Sandeep Puni, who got me on like those books.
Right.
And so if I had to give advice, I would say go read like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Compound Effect. That was like the foundation of my like entrepreneurial career and like what I did in DJing.
Yeah.
And there's a quote in Rich Dad Poor Dad, I can't remember exactly, but instead of being like I can't, like he says like I can't, ask how can I.
Right.
Like it's such a weird thing, but it's like either you decide to do something, so like I'm choosing not to do that, or how can I do that?
Right, there is no...
It's not I can't do
Right.
it. It's like if I want to do it, then how can I get that done? Or is it something that I actually don't want to do?
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I would love to do that, but I can't.
Okay.
So yeah, you got to get rid of that phrase. It's either like I'm choosing not to do this, or how can I? If you just flip it into like, how can I?
Yeah.
It kind of just lets your brain like going through the motions of like, oh yeah, then how can I actually
That's-
be a DJ full time?
Right. Oh my god, that's amazing. I think, I mean, I read like lots of Instagram quotes, but none of them as good as that. And yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I've always gotten that recommendation. What is the worst advice that you've ever gotten? Like, you're in a very, very unconventional like career. I'm sure you've gotten like tons of these.
Yeah, everyone, and they're not giving advice, they're giving their opinion. So, again, they were like Jay-Z, they're like, oh, he has this kind of quote where it's like, oh, you could never sell 100,000 records or like 1 million records. He's talking about his uncle. And it's like, no, you could never sell 100,000 records and you're projecting that on me.
Oh.
But how can I go sell 100,000 records? Let me
Right.
figure it out. So all the advice I ever got was bad. No one ever gave me, I shouldn't say, I'm sure, like I said, Sandeep Puni, like, and those like entrepreneurial friends, like of course, like, and that's great. But like from like 20 to 25, no one's gonna really give you good advice because they haven't done it.
Right.
So if you can go find a mentor or intern with someone, then you're gonna get good advice. So
Right.
like almost everything is bad advice. Like the worst thing I can't even think of one because it's all bad. And it's gonna give you like the emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear one person tell you like you can make it, and you're gonna hear like your
100,
whole
yeah.
family that's like, no, this is never gonna work.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
how you can, who makes money doing music?
Right.
So yeah, so that, and I would guess just as an artist, there's this like quote that you hear like, oh, the starving artist, X that. Like
Yeah.
don't do it for the money, that's never gonna work. But once you figure out what you're passionate about,
Yeah.
then don't be afraid to figure out or like slightly change or figure that model out
Yeah.
to then be a financially successful artist.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So I guess that starving artist is like, I guess if that's bad advice, that quote is really bad for an artist. Like don't start for the money, but once you get in that groove of doing what you love to do,
Yeah.
then really try to figure out, how to make that your career in your financial career as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think mostly like I'm at that stage. I'm 20, like going into
Yeah.
arts, and yeah, it's always like it's just not possible. But it's like I could go until like at least 25 before like my parents are like no, right? So I have until that time when I can like switch and be like, okay, fine, I'll be like an accountant, like like I can at least have those 5 years to do whatever. Okay, yes. Okay.
So plan B is the worst advice I ever had.
yeah.
So and I feel like you should always have a plan B. So
Right.
I have a degree in political science. I'm very passionate about like people that follow me on Instagram. Yes, I am like very passionate about political issues.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to do a whole degree for that because your plan B,
Yeah.
right, can be part of your plan A. They don't have to be separate. Okay.
Okay.
So like, how does that make sense? So let's say you want to be an actor, and your
Okay.
plan A is to be like who's a really good not Dwayne, Michael B. Jordan, killing it right now, right? As an African actor, like, so he's, it's a minority to be a lead African actor.
Right.
But, bam, so he made it as an actor. So if you want to, I want to be the next Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
But even if that didn't happen, there's so many careers and jobs around acting.
Acting,
You
right.
can work in extra work. You can work in SAE work, which is special skills extra.
Right.
You can work as an acting coach or as a line reader helping other people audition. There's people that work in costumes. There's people that work with casting directors that
Right.
read scripts for auditions. So there's so many careers. So why would your plan B be accounting? Or like for me, political science. It's so out of acting. So in music, you want to be a DJ.
Yeah.
Say you only can DJ once a week, but you can work with Pro Show, like a Pro Audio something, PSAV. These guys do live sound. There's interns that work in music studios. Then there's assistant engineers. There's mixing engineers. There's so many jobs inside of music that are separate from like, oh, I'm the star DJ that you can work on. Lana McQuaid, they're a rental store and they sell music equipment. People teach how to play guitar.
Right.
Actually, crazy. There's a gentleman. I don't know if I should say his name, but yeah, like Anderson guitarist on Instagram. He is a phenomenal pop music singer, works with amazing producers,
Right.
but he also teaches guitar. So he's got like two things. Steve in the mix, he mixes amazing music. Him and Anderson Guitar. I don't know what their companies we called, but they're also like producing big pop records. So like a lot of these like people that you see are also working somewhere else in the music
Right,
industry.
yeah.
So your plan B will naturally happen inside of that industry. It's really,
Yeah, no, it
I
does, it
wish
does.
they would explain that. Man, say you want to be a basketball star
Right.
and you don't make it to the NBA. You can like work with athletes, coaching them, training them. You can
Right.
work in Kines.
Yeah.
Like there's so many jobs in athletics.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
your
no, it
plan,
makes sense, yeah.
but no one explains. They think your plan B is something separate. No,
Yeah.
just do your plan A.
Yeah.
The plan B will fall in there. You'll have something that will fit in that world, but that way you're never losing sight of your plan A. It's
Yeah.
you can always be going for auditions while you're working on set. You can always be producing music while you're working in live sound. Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally
Yeah.
get it. It's honestly, this kind of reminds me. We used to have this like quote in our grade 7 classroom. Was like, "Reach for the moon, you'll at least land in the stars."
Yeah. So what does that actually mean?
Right.
Right. That's a very generic quote that I never really understood. I'm
Yeah.
like, this sounds like some lovey-dovey
Yeah,
stuff. That
yeah,
means
yeah.
nothing. But it actually, I'm like, damn, that's actually right.
I know,
Right?
I know. I know it's like you never want to be the star though, right? Because like it's either you go for it or you just go somewhere else. Like you don't want to land. I think people are just scared, so they're kind of like tittle between like plan A and plan B. So they're never completely like sat or like completely focused towards just like one plan. But no, I'm so glad, and honestly I see the passion that you have for like DJing and like original music, everything. Like I can see it. But what is your favorite part about being a DJ?
Yeah, 100%. So like, it's the same thing that makes me about that I want to do my own music is those dance floor moments.
Yeah.
So every time that you're DJing or you're performing for people, it's like an energy shift.
Right.
So between you and those people, you're exchanging energy back and forth. So that's what gets me excited about DJing and also about performing like my own songs is I get to like transfer that energy to them and then they also transfer like energy back to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the crowd also needs to be. So if you're like the DJ's bad, no, it must half of it is like the crowd, like it's both. Okay. And now one like hypothetical. If you could be stuck in one era with like that kind of music, what era would you choose?
Oh yeah, I'm a 2000s. I love like the 2000s, like 112, Bad Boy, like Tupac, Death Row, like all of that. Yeah, 100. And you'll hear it in my music.
Yeah.
And even when I DJ live, like people know I kill it in the 2000s. So they'll actually like book me just to do like 2000s hip hop R&B. Yeah.
Okay. When you're choosing like the mixes to make, what matters to you? Is it the beat? Is it the lyrics? Or is it like what age group you're kind of like catering to, so you kind of stay in that era?
Yeah, so the people that you're, remember, it's energy. So I can't just give them what I want and no, I have to be like, what vibe are they in, and then how can I like feed that? So if they're younger, I'm playing newer music. If they're like older, I'm playing older music. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely trying to cater to them, and then I'm like sneaking in songs that I think that they'll like, that they might not be takeable for them.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I'm 100. Like I'm thinking all of those things. I'm thinking so the age group and the demographic. What are they gonna like? Yes, the tempo of the song, and yes, the lyrics. Like if these songs are kind of about the same thing, they'll also fit together even if like they're not quite the same speed.
Okay, and one last question. What is your one safe song? Like the crowd is just not working, but if you play that one song, I know you're like a really good DJ, and I bet like this has never happened to you, but what is that one song that you know is just gonna get the crowd hopped up?
Yeah, by Usher. Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah.
It's your boy A-Slam. Yeah. Single moms.
If I could stand tall for a moment, not fall for a moment, I would make it to that moment for you. And if I could inhale for a second, exhale for a second, I would breathe that second for you. Every night, shit, face every moment, come on, chase every moment, embrace more moments with you. But now I'm on the grind every second, still alive every second, yeah, make it to the top.
She's unstoppable, you got to know she is my world. Her sacrifices unplottable, like rock and roll. My soul was never locked behind doors, like a metronome go. She keeps going and going again. She wants to be back at home, but not alone. Displaced in a world unknown, no longer on her own. A son by her throne, a queen qualified by left more than my mom. She is my friend.
Again and again, ask how did it end? Got me pacing back and forth, thinking about excuses. How we gonna do this through the ups and downs? You and who ain't through it? Best believe when it comes to rapping, I'm immaculate. Damn right, I'll prove it. When it comes to making moves, y'all know who did it. That's why Apple made it, cause the man was dedicated. Saw a vision when the meditation on my aggravation. Moved it to the hills, from your trouble situation all for you.
Always been around,
With you by my side.
no one can take me down.
Yeah, from the ups and downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take me down. Come
From
on.
the ups and downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take me
No, they
down.
can't. From the ups and downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take me down.
If I could stand tall for a moment, not fall for a moment, I would make it to that moment for you. If I could inhale for a second, exhale for a second, I would breathe that second for you. Every night, shit, face every moment, and I chase every moment, embrace more moments with you. But now I'm on the grind, every second still alive, every second gonna make it to the top for you. Make it to the top.
Single mother with no other, me, my brother, so she wonders why did he turn out a user when I turn like another. There's no answer I can give her that would satisfy her soul. As a mother, she is blinded by the love for her two toddlers. She just step back and I help her, try to tell her he has no honor. Why do I bother? Cause I love her, but I cannot trust her anymore. She makes me mad, she makes me sad. What if my dad is mine is closed? Just know I will not leave you on this road alone.
Ups and downs, you always been around.
With you by my side,
no one can take me down.
from the ups and downs, you always
always been around.
Yeah, you have.
With you by my side, no one can take me down.
From the ups and downs, you always been around.
With
You
you.
by my side, no one can take me down.
From the ups and downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take me down. If I could stand tall for a moment and fall for a moment, I would make it till I'm born for you. And if I could inhale for a second, exhale for a second, I would breathe just breathe for you. And flash your face every moment in my chase, every moment embrace all moments with you. But now I'm on the grind,
Yes,
every
I
second's
am.
still alive, every second gonna make it to the top for you. If I could stand tall for a moment, not fall for a moment, I would make it till that moment
From
for
the ups
you.
and downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take
No
me
one can
down.
take me down.
Every flash your face every moment in my chase, every moment embrace all moments with you. And downs, you always been around. With you by my side, no one can take me down. If I could stand tall for a moment, not fall for a moment, I would make it till I'm born for you. And if I could inhale for a second, exhale for a second, I would breathe out second for you. Every flash your face every moment in my chase, every moment embrace all moments with you. But now I'm on the grind, every second's still alive, every second gonna make it to the top for you.
And that's it. To my mom.
Gonna make it to the top for you.
It's hard to say, but I love you always. Come on.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. I learned so much, and if you want to know more about him, you can check out his Instagram. And if you guys want to be a part of Close Look, you can contact us at any time on Instagram or on our website, closelook.ca. Thank you so much for watching.